Well, Luke Schwartz, thanks for doing the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, latiftayour.
One thing I find very interesting about our, let's call it a bubbling friendship.
Sure, yeah. A strong acquaintance.
A strong acquaintance. Latif and acquaintances. I still have a hard time feeling if you're being sarcastic or not.
Why?
Is that your
thing? What are you
thing?
talking about? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to be sincere, even when I'm alone. When I'm alone, I'll go, yeah, right. You know, like I still have that issue
of just not knowing.
Yeah.
But is it like you don't do it on purpose? Because
it
is funny. I find it funny.
I find it very funny.
But I walk away and I'm like, I don't know what just happened.
That's fair. A lot of people don't know where they stand with me. And I kind of like that. And for people I like, it's a bummer. You're fine. Don't worry. We're good.
I like how you just doubled down into it.
I was being that's sincere. It's like you and I, we're good. There's nothing bad there. Ugh.
Yeah.
I couldn't let it. I can't let a moment go without commenting on it. It's a problem.
It's like you're your own meta self.
Yeah. It really slows things down.
Yeah, but it is funny, and it is, I think, why you're good on stage, because like you are in the moment.
I'm nothing if not in the moment. I really have, over the past couple years, I've really tried to tamp it down, and my stand-up, I think, has gotten better because of it. But just not commenting on every other sentence and then commenting on the comments, I just get lost in it. I mean, I kind of went back into it when I was doing your show the other day, which is usually great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the one I do. That's how it happens on every show. Ugh, you should have been here last week.
Right.
Well, you didn't book me last week. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
But you did it again the very next day.
I did, yeah. And it was just slightly more people, and just like sometimes a small crowd can be better than a big crowd with a bad vibe.
Oh, totally.
So, yeah.
They can be small and mighty.
Or small and bad.
Yeah, small and bad.
Which was what we had the other day, and it was no one's fault except a couple people in the audience.
Yeah.
And they were smiling. Everyone was having a fine time. It's just no one on stage like had a good time, I don't think.
Pleasantly smiling is interesting because they can be like, "What? We were great," and you were, but you weren't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was great.
Yeah.
You, as the audience, left something to be desired.
But that is interesting. So you made a conscious decision to kind of dial that back, and your act got better.
Mm-hmm. I also had a lot of people tell me to cut that shit out. So, I mean, I took that advice as well. Yeah.
Yeah. When you received it, did you appreciate it? Or were you like, fuck that guy or girl?
Well, it just happened so many times that I was like, there might be something to this.
Right.
Yeah.
When it got to number 9, you're like, all right, maybe.
Yeah, and it's been happening. I mean, I've been doing comedy 11 years.
Oh, wow.
And
you're so young.
I thank you. I'm very castable.
Yeah.
And I just, from jump, I was always commenting just on everything, the room, myself, how the joke went. I one of my favorite bits to do is I'll grade myself on stage. I go, that was a C+ joke. Okay, let's move it on. Yeah.
And then the grade changes as the act goes on.
Yeah. And then at the end, I give myself overall B-. Not bad.
Yeah. I give you a very high grade in terms of your career because you've achieved so many things that like everyone wants. Like you got co-signed by Bill Burr, a recent new Iliza thing special.
Yes, it got announced on Instagram, so I guess I can talk about it.
Congrats.
Thank you. I thought I was being pranked because no one else had heard of it.
Right.
And but she's filming like 18 up-and-comers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm one of them.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's why I thought it was a prank.
Yeah. You're in the Comedy Store documentary?
Yes, I am.
But you got a very nice profile in it where they followed you up and then followed you back. Yeah. That was really cool. That was one of the good moments.
It was great. When they filmed it, I felt really cool. They also got me twice doing that. One time I came off stage and I went to the back bar, and Lucas, the bartender, tossed me a bottle of water, and I caught it pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
They didn't use
that
that
one.
one.
Catch?
Not a no look. I was paying attention because I knew they were like following me on purpose. They had like set it up and stuff.
Yeah.
But the music they put behind me walking around could have been like cool, could have been like bluesy guitar, could have been like techno anything. But they chose like circus music, so it's like makes me look like a fat loser idiot just walking in circles around a building I work at.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it's still nice to be.
It's great. It's an honor just to be nominated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so when you have these things and you're at this point in your career, like what motivates you to get the next things? Because you have like, let's say like a very high rung of accomplishments. So you can resume credits and things that be like, all right, well, this guy
I'm starting to get a certification. The resume is slowly coming together. Yes. With this second TV thing, hopefully that will, I think I can maybe start going to the next, but I mean, I've really been taking my time, and I'm not the most motivated person, but I can't. Do you sit and write for like an hour a day? Is that one of your things?
And I don't do it every day, but every day I do it, I'm like, that was the best thing I could have done.
I rarely get anything out of that, and if it strikes me in the moment, I pull out my phone, I stop the conversation, and I just like write it down, and then I go back to the conversation a minute later. That's kind of my process.
I take the phone and take those things out onto the paper and write it out.
And that's your hour of writing?
And then bring it. Yeah. So that's where I start. I'm like, all right, well, what things did I write in my phone?
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm like doing the same thing you're doing, but just expanding on it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, people tell me, they go, you just have to sit and then think of jokes. And I go, that sounds
That's a bit more psychotic.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe crazy is ableist, but yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like the first 15 minutes is brutal. You're like, ugh. And the phone has to be somewhere else. The phone is in the other room.
Sure, yeah.
And then you're just doing like this. Which is pretty
Twirling,
cool.
yeah.
A little twirl.
Yes.
I'm not that good at it, but I can do like a little. And then then something comes, and sometimes you think you have the best thing ever, and you take it to stage, and you're like, this is terrible. But at least you did it. And the brain, then the next day it's compound interest. The next day it gets easier and better. And
even in that's the problem with the vacuum of just you there. It's like waking up from a dream, you go, oh, I got to write this down. And then the whole harsh light of day, you're like, eh.
Yeah.
But like for me, if it's organic, I know that it's good. But if it's forced, I feel that forcedness. And then I feel like an actor rather than a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nothing against actors. They're terrible. But like, it just feels more natural when I organically come up with it, and then I can organically recreate it.
Yeah, because the part that's interesting is like you can write something, all right, this is funny. And then you're like, oh, well, now I have to rehearse it if I want to do what I wrote. And that part there can be a disconnect too. You're like, well, I didn't really rehearse it. Yeah. And then you end up going on stage with the idea that you didn't really write.
I like how Jamar Neighbors does it, where he'll just take out his phone and read word for word, but he types in like vernacular. He types in just like how he speaks regularly. Yeah. So he'll just read from his phone. It'll be in front of him, and he'll be like, hey, so do you ever think about how people will be like, but he reads it monotone.
Yeah.
But he's reading it the way he would speak it. I think that's a really good mechanism to use.
Yeah. He's another guy like yourself who's very present and in the moment, and just like he's 100%
but his presence is like his id. He's all id. There's no ego or any. He's just like, it's just instinct all the time.
Yeah,
with Jamar.
Good comic instincts.
Yeah, good comic instincts, and he writes a lot of little jokes all the time, and he's always present, always in the moment, and that's interesting. I've never compared us to, but I think his style is completely different than mine, but maybe the commenting on it and stuff there's a similarity.
There's a comfort of being able to do what needs to be done and not do the act if you don't need to do the act, which I saw you guys both do.
And just step in and out of it.
And just the stage. Nice. You guys both have strong stage presence.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from, because I've had the thing where if I'm on stage, people will look at me and listen. Like I have even if the crowd is rowdy or whatever, I'm good at cutting through. Even if I'm bombing, even if everyone is bombing and I'm bombing too, I just, for some reason, they're quieter for me.
They are. They're quieter, yes.
Because I think it's because they know I'm judging them just as much as they're judging me. I think it might be something like that.
That's so funny. That's exactly it. Like they're paying they're paying attention. And same with Jamar. They're paying attention.
Right. Good or bad, they are focused.
Yeah. I think he adds an extra element of like the showmanship with the mohawk and like
he jumps around, he gets on the table, he's yelling crazy stuff. He's yelling wild stuff. And I don't have that, but
this is a mohawk intervention. We're gonna give you a mohawk. Jamar's outside.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought a mohawk intervention would be to get me away from it.
Oh yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. I love your confrontational style because it's so funny, and it actually hasn't stopped you from getting a lot of things.
I don't know. It
Oh,
might
well,
have.
actually, that's a good way to look at it because you
It could
don't.
have.
It's like the times you didn't get sick, or like the time you don't know the things that didn't happen. The alternate universe.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Right.
It's like someone was thinking of like, and I used to be meaner about the confrontations too, and I think I've really mellowed out with them. But Keith says all the time, he goes, I have to defend you. They're like, what is Luke's deal? And a lot of the time it'll be like how you open the pod where you're like, I don't know where I stand with you.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, yeah, I understand that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I didn't feel like I was on your bad side.
Yeah.
It was more the jokes you make. I don't know where I am. It's so second level, like what you're making fun of, that I don't know where the start was. I don't really know where to like log back in, if that makes sense.
I understand. It's a real A to see you later. Yeah.
Yeah, A to see you later. Exactly.
Yeah, so there's like 2 levels.
And everyone in comedy nowadays seems to have their like thing that brings them to the next level. Like, I'm a comedian and I'm funny, but then I become an actor and now I'm a touring act. I'm a comedian, I'm funny, I've become famous on TikTok, now I can tour and be a headliner. Have you thought about what that path is for you?
I have a lot because I have like I have golf buddies that do the golf podcast, and that's their thing now. And it's like
Jake?
Country Club Adjacent. Yeah, those guys have like really found their niche and are blowing up in that. Or like, you know, whoever, like if you do like a music podcast and like if you're Josh Adam Myers or whatever, you do a music thing.
Yeah, that's very smart. Yeah.
My thing has always been just being funny, and that's not niche enough. Like because I really go for every. No, I don't go for every joke, but I feel like what I do is super funny, and that's not a niche.
Right.
That's just,
it's not a slash.
General comedy.
Yeah. Let's assume everyone is funny who's adding this thing. Like, they've gotten to the level of being funny enough to go to the next level.
I'll grant the premise, yeah.
Grant the premise, but they don't have a following. They don't have fans to see the funny.
Right.
So you can either keep being funny in a somewhat of a void, or try to make yourself more famous or more
talking about movies or TV shows or a one TV show.
I mean, the podcast for many people we know has been the thing. They were very funny. They got a podcast. Now they're famous, have money, and they tour.
Yes. The problem with that model now is that everybody has a podcast.
It's kind of a dying model.
So you can't, there's no sticking out. Even if you just have the podcast, you have to have the interior design podcast where you're the funny one or whatever.
Yeah, like the just comedy podcast or just two people, it's harder without the little, like the hook.
Yeah.
But I have found from someone who's been doing an interview podcast that's very guest dependent, obviously like the episode. So like the more famous the guest, the bigger the episode. Sure. It's very linear. But the people who do just two people hanging out, and you can comment on this.
Yeah.
Like, you're building fans who like you and Keith.
Yeah. That's what we're
Whereas
hoping
like some people might like me, but the biggest tune-ins are for the bigger guests.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, well,
that is true. Like I listen to Marin still sometimes.
Yeah.
And but I usually always listen to the first 10 minutes. Like I really.
Oh, you like the part where he talks?
That's my favorite part, because I don't care if he's interviewing Gwyneth Paltrow. He interviewed Matt Damon the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care really. But the first 10 minutes and the last 5 minutes are always, that's like where he is.
Oh.
I go, yes. Usually it's backwards. But that's the part where I like, and then I get to see him do it on stage, which is really cool as well. And I go, oh, that's from him working out and just talking in the garage. Yeah.
He's very good on stage. Like, I saw him I didn't see the time you opened for him at Dynasty Typewriter, but I saw him before the pandemic there. And it was great to see him work it out, like on the stool, just like.
Yeah, he's been getting up and around too on stage. I mean, he's off the stool, he's walking around. I opened for him the other day at like Dynasty.
Yeah.
And when I closed the show, I was like, I don't know if you guys know this. You saw something special. He was off the stool for a lot of that. He was mobile, and Marin's walking off and going, yeah, like kind of laughing.
Yeah, you can't catch COVID if you move around.
Yeah, that everyone in the theater was wearing masks, so I was like, everyone, you got to really pick it up for us, okay?
Yeah.
That's tough when everyone's safe.
They've been very stringent there, like vaccine, mask, but
Yeah.
it has paid off for them because
They've curated their audience.
they curate the audience, but also they're full. Like I stopped by there just the other day and I was like, oh, it's packed.
Yeah, I'm really happy Jamie found success in that place because Jamie was doing a great job at the Improv.
Yes.
And when he left that, I was like worried. And then he created such a good space and like it's successful too.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for him.
I helped him on the business side get it started.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So he's a good friend and just a good dude. And I like it when good people make it.
Yeah.
And like there's the Dynasty popcorn right by your phone.
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
It's like they created a universe that is like their own.
Jamie is big into, weird shit all the time. So he created this popcorn empire that and the Dynasty typewriter lore
Right.
that has turned into like it's a really great environment. And like everything is curated there. I really like the carpets.
Yeah.
I really like the wallpaper, the sconces, just like the seats are great. And then the green room is fabulous. Really fun to be in that green room. You feel like old
It feels like Hollywood. Yeah.
And that's what he's going for. And it worked out great. And he's got like a great fridge in there. And the bathroom has like everything. It has like Band-Aids and mints and there's deodorant. And like, you're like, oh, fuck, this rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to be back there.
You following someone else's deodorant. You're like, all right.
There's a hair on it, of course.
Right. Or is it the spray deodorant?
I think there's
like in Will Smith's opening of what's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when he does the spray.
Yeah, there is a spray one, and I think there's a roll-on one as well.
That's psychotic if you use someone else's roll-on.
Yeah, I guess
or
wipe some TP on it and then use it. No, too much for you.
That's a lot. You would do
catch COVID through the lymph nodes. If it was an emergency, maybe. Yeah. If I was like, oh, this is BO.
If you're about to walk into like a Netflix meeting or something, maybe. Mm-hmm. But it's that's a lot.
Are you a germ guy? Scared of it?
No, but I just feel like that's such a personal spot of your body. Like.
Yeah.
I was never overly afraid of COVID or like that stuff. I mean, I was respectful. I wore the mask.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like whatever you're comfortable with. I'm like.
I think Keith told me a story about you. Like you're comfortable with who you're comfortable with the mask stuff. And but if someone you don't know / don't like comes up to the circle or whatever, you will like slowly put your mask back up.
Me?
Yeah.
Have I hung out with him enough for him to know that?
I think he was talking about that at like once or twice he's seen you do that, and it's like a cool like move. I like that move. Interesting,
because that's not really my thinking, but I think sometimes I just I don't know. I'd rather put it on and
yeah.
I'm actually flattered that Keith would think of me at all, because we don't know each other that well, even though I think he's very funny and I see him in passing.
But you know the scene.
Yeah.
It's just people in the scene that you know.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people that I know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people.
Are you from the San Diego scene like him?
No, I'm from, I started in New York.
You did?
Yeah.
Are you a New Yorker?
No, I'm a LA guy. I'm an Angelino, actually.
They've said, I'm going to start comedy in New York?
I went to college at SUNY Purchase, which is near White Plains, like an hour and a half outside the city.
Right.
And then lived in...
State University of New York?
That's right, yeah.
For chemical engineering?
Art history.
I was close.
Yeah.
That's like where you look at Picasso's and you're like dissect it and stuff.
Yeah, I go, hey, this is pretty good, and here's why. Here's a paper about it.
Yeah,
so,
I have a degree on this, so you have to listen to me.
Exactly. Museums are a great date. That's where I go, and I can go, actually, it's like this, and like impress some people. That's fun.
Right.
But I'm married now, so I have a hot ass wife, and I do that to her. But
congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
I think comics get married, and comics are smart who get married.
Yeah, you can really tell who is normal and who is like whose brain is actually broken.
Right.
If they can hold down a relationship.
Well, when you're doing comedy in these go-out environments and you're also adding a layer of dating, and let's be honest, like people meet and date at school, at work.
Yeah.
And comedy is kind of both those things for people. So I don't fault people who date comics. You're like, that's who you know.
I used to say, you should never date comics. And then it turns out it's like, oh, I should never date comics. Like it was a personal thing.
Yeah.
I just put it on everybody else. But
I mean, you probably shouldn't.
It's fine.
But if you do, it's not bad.
But it's going to be bad if you two are bad.
Right.
But if you two are good, then it's good. And it's fine. Like, and comics do get the lifestyle. No one's like, there's no comic that's dating. It's like, ugh, I can't believe you're going out again. It's like you're just like, ugh, why aren't you taking me to the show?
Yeah,
And
but then like one person gets
you-
spots, the
Exactly.
other doesn't.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know. But yeah, started in New York. I was barking for 3 years. I did the in Times Square selling the tickets.
Oh my God.
I was like, hey, want to see a fucking comedy show? A lot of that.
Like flicking them, like in Vegas.
Not so much like the Vegas guys, but kind of they had a wobble to them because they were long. So I go,
yeah.
wah, 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 do that kind of little thing.
For which club?
The Broadway Comedy Club.
The Broadway, nice. Which was the old Improv.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Al Martin owned. And then, ran by I did the small room, the World.
Yeah.
And I sold tickets, and the amount of tickets you sold was related to your stage time.
So like a ticket per minute?
Not quite like that, but you only sell 2 tickets, you only get the 5. If you sell like 5 or more, you get 10 minutes.
Yeah. And how do they know that you sold them? Because you're just hanging a flyer, right?
No, it's you sell the tickets.
You sell
I'm getting
my
money
God.
from people.
So it's more than barking. You're like selling.
That's right. Yeah, I'm my own merchant. Yeah.
Do you have like a Stripe or a card reader? How are you doing?
Not at the time. No, I don't. I barely anybody had those.
So you're just taking cash?
Yeah, I was taking cash.
That's psychotic that someone will give you money in Times Square. You could just be like a crazy person.
Well, yeah, but I mean, enough of us were around, and like these are official. I can walk you to the club if you want.
Yeah, because Broadway's not that far.
No, not from where I barked. Especially, I was on 50th and Broadway. That's where my spot was.
Nice.
Across from Caroline's.
Yeah.
And then occasionally a cop that was on Caroline's payroll would be like, "Hey, you gotta move."
Oh, it was like mafia. They would move you off.
Yeah, very low level but like whatever. And it was good training. I'll tell you what.
Like, what about the weed dealer? He can stay.
Trial by fire. No.
It's probably good to start in New York, right?
I wish I had started in a smaller scene and then gone to New York, because once I mean it's really like you're in it. The number one city.
Yeah.
On the East Coast, it's like it's either LA or New York, and you're in New York, and like that's for comedy, it's fucking hard. And all the comics that are there are really good.
Yeah, they are very good there.
And a lot of the comics there, even if they're like, everyone is just polished if they're there, except if you just started there.
Right.
So I wish I had started in like a Portland or a Denver or something like that, but I had roots already in New York, and like.
I mean, what are you gonna pack up from LA and go to Portland to start? You're already
Right.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but I didn't know much. I just knew I wanted to do comedy. So like a couple weeks after I graduated, I looked on Craigslist. I didn't know about open mics. I looked on Craigslist for comedy jobs or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And this barking thing came up, and I just I answered an ad.
yeah, the guy who put the ad up in Craigslist was probably like, yes, it worked.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting people.
And he was very happy with me for a while.
What year is this?
This is 2010. Yeah.
Because I was there in 2006, and that's how I would get a lot of jobs in music. Sometimes was Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just desperate and like answering shit.
Well, when I first got there, it's like you don't know many people.
That's exactly.
And you're getting a little bit of work here and there, and you're like, and then people will post like need producer, needs studio time, because I was like an engineer, a guy in the studio recording and stuff, and it's how you found stuff. There was no social media.
Right.
People weren't like networking that way.
It's different for comedy because no one's like, hey, I need one stand-up comedian. Like
right.
Bookers are professional, even before the social media thing. Like it was like they were like, oh yeah, I know the comedians that I'll book.
That is true.
No one's reaching out on Craigslist. I did 2 bringer shows before I figured that one out too.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and I the second one I was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Never again. Thanks though. Bye. Have a good one.
Do you think those will go away in the new post-COVID, because stage time is so valuable now at the clubs and they want to control it more? They might just get rid of bringers.
They have at the Comedy Store, and I don't think it's hurt them much. We just run 2 of our own shows now.
Oh, that's
in
great.
the main and in the original, like we should have been, and it sells out like it was. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's maybe harder for new comics who want to like just, or who even like who are hobbyists who take a class, and that's nothing wrong with that. But like,
Yeah.
they get a bunch of friends, and It's just it's
Like
it-
their final project is at the store.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, their graduation
They
show.
can find other places for that though.
Yeah, totally. But I understand the want and need for it, but I still, I have the thing where I look down my nose at Bringer Comics, obviously.
Well, I think it's good for the club to maintain the control over the brand.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that too. It was really like a lot of bad comedians are going, I'm a store regular.
Yeah,
That's
I luckily haven't heard anyone say that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure it has happened and you've seen it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all the time. That's
Someone who runs into you.
Oh, that's a confrontation move. They're like, they get brought up and it's like, this guy's a regular at the Comedy Store. And it's like, and then off stage I go, when do you go to the Comedy Store? Or you're a paid regular? You're younger than me. Like, I've been working there for years and I don't know you. Yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, I do this show. And I go, here's why that's different. And then I kind of like break it down. And I go, you can't really say that, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that a little bit.
I was booked on a producer show in the Belly Room,
Mm-hmm.
and there I met someone. She's like, "Oh, you're really funny. Do you want to do my show?" I was like, "Sure." She puts me on it. 3 weeks later, the flyer comes out, and then it's me behind the Comedy Store logo saying,
Yeah.
and then it says my credit, Comedy Store.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Can you take that off?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm not past there. I'm not on the wall. It looks psychotic."
Right.
And for anyone who actually knows, like, I'm embarrassed by this. I don't want to be one of those people.
Yeah, no,
And she
that's-
was like, "I can't believe you asked me to take that." I'm like, "Yes, please change it on the flyer."
Yeah, I would have probably had a worse opinion of you if
Yeah,
I had seen that. I go, Latif from the
because
store.
it makes it seem like that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it also makes you seem like
Makes it seem
unwitting
I
and
don't get
stupid.
it.
Yeah.
You're like, how clueless is this person?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to manage your reputation and amongst your peers.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be one of those people who is going around saying they have. I mean, there's a little bit of like fake it till you make it, but that's a little egregious.
Mm-hmm. And every comic I know, they go, I'm slept on. Every comic is slept on.
Oh,
They
of
always
course.
claim that. And I go, well, don't you think you're right where you're supposed to be? Some of you.
Well, you're either exactly where you're supposed to be because you just got to that level, right? Or you're not quite at the next level.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone's where they're at but shouldn't be there?
Not as many as people think.
Right.
Everyone thinks they should be there, up high,
Yeah.
and they don't have it. They don't have the juice.
Right.
I don't think I have the juice. I think I am a great feature. I'm a
When you mean
I'm a good,
what do you
solid,
mean by the
good
juice
feature.
though? Like you don't have the comedy, or you don't have the rep, or the fans, or what's
The comedy
like in terms of minutes, or
in terms of minutes and quality.
So where would, and that for you caps out at a feature, like a 20, 25?
I could struggle to headline somewhere for a solid hour, and I could have a good time and have a good show.
Yeah.
For the 5 shows that a weekend is or whatever. But there's something different. There's a level that is intangible, but there's like an electricity that crackles around a good hour.
Yeah.
Versus a put together hour.
Do you think that comes together by doing the hour? So like you have it, it's not quite exactly, but by doing it,
No.
you kind of grow into it?
No. I think some people are funnier and better than others. I think some people just have the gene that
So
makes
like
them a headliner.
the it thing.
Yes, definitely the it factor of where's the juice and how to ride that. How to sit in the pocket, but like it's instinctual for a lot of people, and for like when you see a good hour and you're like, wow, Maria Bamford didn't look like she worked at all.
Right.
And you go like, that's, and you go that, but then you see someone who's like, yeah, they were okay for an hour, like that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Like not knowing how to slow down, because the hour there's like you have to.
It's not knowing how to slow down, but also like, yeah, there's a weak 15 to 20 minutes in there,
Yeah.
and then that joke sucked. And then the closer is, oh, you've done that closer a lot, haven't you?
Yeah. That is funny when it's like it slows down and then it ramps up for that last 90 seconds.
And then they have merch with that catchphrase on it. And you're like, yeah, okay.
Nothing wrong with that. If you
Of course not. What would be wrong with that?
look, is it the most artistic thing to do?
No, sometimes you just have to get her done.
Sometimes that was really good. Sometimes you just have to like pay your bills, you know?
Yeah. Yes, I know. Yes. Yeah, and that comes at the sake of craftsmanship, artistry, or whatever. But, I mean, audiences are hacks. They don't study comedy. They shouldn't.
Right.
They're regular people whose job I could not do.
Sometimes they want to buy stuff, and if you don't give them the opportunity to buy, then you've left money on the table.
Yes, that's
It is
true.
still a business.
I understand selling merch and all that stuff, but selling
VIP meet and greets, photos.
selling merch with a catchphrase is really like sell a CD. Great.
Yeah.
Sell your album, sell the download code for the album.
Yeah.
But or like a t-shirt with your face on it is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But when it has
the bit,
yeah,
it's a little much.
it's a lot.
But this is all coming to. I'm so glad we're doing this because I'm understanding. You're married. You're an art history major. Very elitist on the art stuff.
Very elitist.
And now it's all coming
that
together.
That has always been a problem. I am very elitist.
You're not elitist, but you have a study of art.
Of course, I'm elitist. First of all, elitism means you like things better.
You like higher quality.
I'm a coastal. If they keep calling me coastal elite, I'll take the title. That's fine. Yeah, I like better shit. I don't like 2.5 Men.
Is that just good taste or is that elitist?
It's both. Yeah, I mean, there's, but you can be elite about low and high.
Yes.
You can be elite about street tacos.
Yep.
And you can be elite about which gallery opening are you attending this weekend.
Yeah, it's kind of like having the knowledge to research and find the best of that thing.
Yeah, or even recognizing quality.
Yeah.
Wherever it is, I think is part of elitism that people are like, oh, you're so elite, and then they like you just make bad choices and you call other people elitist. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, get a more comfortable sofa.
Yeah.
Get a better and it's not always about more money.
No, sometimes it's about knowing. It's about taste.
Yeah.
I feel like taste is like the way of saying I'm elitist without disparaging.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
But it's there. It takes some effort too.
It takes effort.
Yeah.
It is funny that we're defined by our purchases and our consumption defines our elitism.
Oh yeah, a lot of it. Yeah.
It's like
as opposed to like the crops we can't grow. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like we should be like
Or our ability, and we're judged by how good we shop, which to me is psychotic.
Yeah, that's true. But you do look down on someone who buys those shirts from Target that say like Darth Vader Academy or whatever, or a sarcastic comment loading.
Oh yeah.
And I buy shirts at Target, but I buy the Goodfellow ones that are the pocket tees because they fit right and they're plain with no logo.
Right.
And I don't buy the ones that have
is that what you're
Captain
wearing right
America. No, this is actually an old. This is an old Target one from Massimo, I believe. It's an old one, but I've worn it in, and it's.
I saw a guy driving a black motorcycle.
Great.
With the Captain America shield
as the backpack.
But it was like actually I'm like, you're going too far. This is too much.
Yeah, and that's also like nerd baby shit.
Yeah, we don't grow up.
I like the Marvel movies. I like them.
I do too.
But people are like, did you know actually? And I go, shut up. Shut up.
I've been watching a lot of like 70s and 80s movies, and you're like, oh, people used to grow up and like want to be adults.
Yeah.
And they're like they wore carried briefcases. They dressed like adults. They had adult conversations.
Yeah. That the more than the dressing up, because like in the 40s, everyone wore a suit all the time or whatever, and that's just how it was.
Could you imagine if you showed up anywhere in a suit?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of those comics who like always wear kind of fancy or whatever, like Alan Strickland Williams, or like who else wears a suit everywhere?
Are they older?
No.
I guess Mulaney.
Like our age, yeah.
Mulaney was doing the suit thing.
Yeah, Mulaney a little bit.
But only for specials.
George Coffey was doing it for a long time. He was
Yeah.
wearing like just a suit all the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that's something. That's fine. And yeah. But yeah, it's more I don't know, I lost the thread for the elitism thing. I'm so disappointed in everybody all the time.
Are you judgmental of their choices?
Oh yeah. Why wouldn't I be? I can see their choices.
Yeah.
Everyone is judgmental. That's how you stay safe. You go,
right.
Oh, is that tree gonna fall? Let me judge if it's leaning or
right.
not. Yeah.
Are they? That's the first thing we evaluate. Is this person a danger?
Yeah.
Right. And then you're like, okay, maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm scared all the time and identifying things and how people act and what they're wearing. Like if someone is wearing like a tank top, like undershirt, but not like a real tank top, I go, maybe I won't like egg them on because they're gonna fight me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got the guns out.
Yeah, or just like they care that little about the thing, or that this is what they care about.
Yeah.
So I go, I don't need to engage
Right. And
on this level.
being at the store so much, it's very much also a bar. So you've seen a lot of the bar. You can see a lot of the bar problems coming a mile away.
I know who's a problem already, and I try and be as genteel about cutting off problems as possible. A lot of the problem people are the helpful heckler, who that one who's like,
I'm helping.
Hey, I agree. I totally do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even the yes person.
Yeah. Yeah. So, or just like anything. And they're the people that usually, when I'm doing the spiel, I have to go, hey, make sure your phones are on silent. There's a 2-drink minimum. Bathrooms are in the back, etc. People go like, I like sit down comedy, instead of stand up comedy. I like sit down. Or it's like, well, what's the drink maximum? I go, hey, just be cool, like don't get into trouble. Know yourself. I'd say that, but like I say it with a smile. And I just kind of like, it's fine. And they like their friends kind of laugh at them. And they're like, okay, I got. And it's like, I just like, hey, you're gonna see some professionals. You don't have to. It's fine.
Right.
I try and like ease everybody. It's like, hey, don't everybody be nice. I say that especially after the pandemic. It's like, let's just be nice to each other.
Yeah.
And that has like really calmed a lot of people down. I've been saying the spiel for like 7 years now.
Right. You probably just click autopilot. It's like a bit. You're like, here we go.
Well, I'm off autopilot now. I'm really like engaging and going, let's make my night easier.
Right.
and your night better in general. I'm not leading you astray.
Yeah.
Please trust me. You come to this institution where I'm wearing the uniform.
Yeah.
I got you, dog.
And was that a good career choice to join the store team?
I think so. For me, maybe people might say I've been there too long because I've been there like pushing 8 years. I mean, including the pandemic, I guess it was 8 years. But I mean, I was off for a year.
I guess it's a hard decision to know when to leave, right?
So when you don't have something you're going to, yes, it is a hard decision to leave. When you have another job, like if you get a writing job or an acting job or whatever, then it's like an easy decision to leave.
Right.
It's kind of shark-like, and it's just it's a mean place, which I really enjoy. So if you can like hang with that, it doesn't matter who you are, you're in.
You got tough skin.
You need skin. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then also it's like what you're gonna get some of the best stage time in the country. Repeatedly.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out how good you really are every night.
There's something about that original room, man, that is the room that I am always drawn to, and it's the perfect comedy room, and if you take out the servers, it's perfect.
Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah.
And your network is strong. So all the big comedians know you.
And it's very much a frat. And like, that's how I started opening for Marin. That's how I started opening for Iliza occasionally.
Yeah.
That's how Brad Williams taking me on the road been nice. Steve Ranazizi been real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big time. So what are your goals coming up for this next year?
A problem with me is I'm not goal oriented. I keep half working on scripts and throwing them out.
That's good. Like original ideas?
Yeah, like for pilots and stuff. I need to finish like at least 2 spec scripts so I can like maybe get staffed up.
Yeah. That's what I just finished doing. I was like, it's painful, but once you have it, you're like, I have 2 things that show I can do it.
Yeah,
kind of.
I'm a quarter of a way through both of them, and it's just like, this is useless to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's I just like the jokes, and I really what I want to be doing. I mean, the goals is just to keep. Honestly, I've stopped looking for things to get, and rather I'm looking to just get better, just get like better on stage, translate my off stage to the on stage.
Yeah.
And that's like really what I'm focusing on.
Well, you have goals. They're just to be funnier. And I like that goal. I think that's a good one.
It's really work on my own self so that I'm ready when someone just goes, hey, like Iliza is like, she picked Luke Schwartz to be on this TV thing, so we'll see.
Yeah, and you're ready.
The problem is I'm a little like I'm doing too. I'm too ready. It's like I'm supposed to only do 10 minutes, and I cannot cut down like this 14-minute set.
Yeah,
that I really like all of it. And
maybe she'll change it to locals run the light.
Yeah.
You'll do great. Well,
yeah.
tell people your socials. I really appreciate you coming out here. I know it's super hot.
Oh yeah, it's great. At Luke Does Stuff on Twitter, where I'm verified under 2,000 followers.
How'd you get verified under 2K?
I know. I was on the Bill Burr Comedy Central thing.
Oh.
And I didn't ask for it. It just appeared one day. It was great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm on Instagram. You can search Luke Schwartz. It's help. It's on Instagram. And then my podcast, Good Friends, Bad People. That's what I really want you to check out. Good Friends, Bad People.
Subscribe to it.
Wherever you
like
get podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, you don't have to listen to it. Just subscribe.
And 5-star review.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, do that.
Well, thanks, Luke. I really appreciate
you,
you. Thanks
Latif.
for coming out.
Of course.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.